Let me be straight with you. When 8 players leave an international camp before a friendly, that's not just a bad week, that's a warning sign. And if you're an Arsenal fan sitting at home right now, this hits different. England were supposed to be wrapping up their final international window before the World Cup with some good vibes, some fitness and a bit of momentum. Instead, Thomas Tuchel is watching his squad shrink by the day, and the 2 biggest names walking out of that camp early just happen to be Arsenal's spine, Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice. Let's break this all down properly. What actually happened? So here's how the week started. England had a 35-man squad. A big group of players, including Saka, Rice and Harry Kane from Bayern Munich, were given extra time before reporting. They only joined up on the same Friday that England played Uruguay at Wembley. Now think about that for a second. They flew in, trained for maybe a few hours, and were already considered not ready enough to even feature in the match. That alone tells you these guys were not in great shape fitness-wise. England drew 1-1 with Uruguay. Fine result, not spectacular. But what happened after the game is where things got messy. Saka and Rice were sent home for medical assessments at Arsenal. No clear update on what's wrong. No timeline. Just they need to be checked. That's the kind of language that keeps fans up at night. And they're not alone. By the time the dust settled, 8 players in total were ruled out of the Japan friendly on Tuesday. 8. That's almost a full starting 11 missing. The full list of who's going home, let's run through everyone heading back to their clubs. Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice, Arsenal's 2 most important players, sent back for medical checks. No update on fitness. Noni Madueke hobbled off against Uruguay, was spotted after the game wearing a knee brace. Not a good look at all. Adam Wharton, the Crystal Palace midfielder, also picked up a knock during the Uruguay match. He's heading home too. John Stones didn't even make it to the Uruguay game, picked up an injury in training beforehand. That one is concerning. Fikayo Tomori started against Uruguay, but now heading back to Italy. His situation seems more precautionary, but still another body gone. Aaron Ramsdale heading back to his club. No major injury news here, just part of the squad reduction. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the Leeds United striker, is also returning. Again, no dramatic news, but England are losing numbers fast. That's a lot of players, too many, and Tuchel still has a World Cup to prepare for. England have a real problem here. Let's be honest, this is not ideal timing at all. The World Cup is coming. These friendlies exist for a reason. Tuchel needs to see his combinations working, his systems clicking, his players building chemistry together. Instead, he's managing an injury ward. Can England still go deep at the World Cup? Of course, the talent is still there. But you cannot keep losing players to fitness issues every single camp and expect everything to be fine when it matters most. At some point, it catches up with you. The fact that Saka and Rice, arguably England's 2 most influential players, couldn't even feature in a friendly is a massive red flag. Not just for the national team, but for what it tells us about the physical toll these players are carrying right now. But Arsenal fans, this is your real problem. Okay, let's talk about the part that genuinely hurts if you support Arsenal. Look at what's happened to Mikel Arteta's squad in this international window alone. Saka sent home from England camp with fitness concerns. Rice sent home from England camp with fitness concerns. Gabriel, the centre-back, pulled out of Brazil duty with an issue. William Saliba pulled out of France duty with an issue. 4 key first-team players. 4. All carrying some kind of problem at the same time. This is not a small thing. This is Arsenal's backbone. Saliba and Gabriel are one of the best centre-back partnerships in European football right now. Saka is your creative heartbeat. Rice is your engine in midfield. Lose any one of them for a significant period and Arsenal's season changes completely. Lose multiple, that's a crisis. And here's the thing. This isn't even the first time this season. Arsenal have had injury problems throughout. Fabrizio Romano reported earlier this season that the Gunners had Gabriel Jesus out for the rest of the season with an ACL injury, and at various points Saka, Gabriel Martinelli and Kai Havertz were all sidelined at the same time. Romano confirmed that Arsenal made no move to sign a free agent striker during that spell. The club decided to manage with what they had rather than react in panic. That's confidence in the squad, but it's also a lot of pressure on players who are already being stretched too thin. The bigger picture, is this a scheduling problem? Here's a question worth asking. Is the football calendar simply too much? These players go from pre-season to a relentless Premier League schedule, then Champions League nights, then international breaks, and then back again. There is barely any time to breathe, let alone fully recover from knocks and fatigue. Rice and Saka were given extra time before joining up with England, which shows England's medical staff already knew these two needed more recovery time than usual. But even that wasn't enough to get them onto the pitch. How many more times do we see this? How many more times do our best players arrive at international camps half fit, only to come back with something worse than they left with? It's frustrating, and it's a conversation the sport needs to have seriously. Saka's future at Arsenal. At least there's some good news in the middle of all this injury noise. There is actually one positive story connected to Saka. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Bukayo Saka has signed a new contract with Arsenal, keeping him at the club until 2030. The official announcement hadn't dropped at time of writing, but Romano was clear. The deal is done. And for Arsenal fans, that's massive. Because whatever happens with fitness right now, you know your best player wants to be here long term. Romano also revealed that Arsenal's next priorities on the contract front are David Raya and Declan Rice. Rice still has time on his deal, so there's no panic there. But the club are thinking long term, which is exactly what you want to see from a club with genuine ambitions. That's the kind of stability that makes a difference. Keeping your best players happy and committed is half the battle. What does Truffle do now? Back to England for a second. Truffle is in a tough spot. He wanted to use this camp to trial a few combinations, get players sharp, and head into the World Cup with some clarity. Now he has to figure out how to make Tuesday's game against Japan meaningful without half his squad available. The silver lining: players like Mark Gahey from Manchester City and Nico O'Reilly get a chance to show what they can do. Sometimes injury chaos opens doors for the next generation. We've seen it before, but let's not pretend this is ideal. It isn't. England need their best players healthy and available, not being assessed at their club's training grounds while the rest of the squad prepares. Real talk, how worried should we be? Here's my honest take. For England, I'm cautiously concerned. This is a World Cup year. You need your best players firing. Losing Saka and Rice for even a few weeks at the wrong moment could derail everything. But there's no confirmed serious injury yet, so let's not spiral into panic just yet. For Arsenal, I'm more worried. 4 players with issues at the same time, 2 of them your defensive foundation, is a lot to manage. The season isn't over. There's still so much to play for. But if Saliba and Gabriel are both short of full fitness for any stretch of games, you will feel it. Arteta is a brilliant manager. He'll find solutions. He always does. But even he can only work with what he has. Let me know what you think. A few questions before I wrap up. Do you think the international calendar is too demanding for players at the top clubs? Which Arsenal player would you be most worried about missing for a longer stretch? Saka, Rice, Gabriel, or Saliba? And honestly, do you think England can win the World Cup with the injury problems they've been dealing with this year? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to know what other fans are thinking right now, because this situation is evolving fast. Final word, this started as a news story about England sending players home early, but really it's about something bigger. It's about how much we ask of elite footballers, season after season, tournament after tournament. The schedule just keeps getting bigger and more demanding. These are human beings, not machines. Saka, Rice, Saliba, Gabriel. These players give everything for their clubs and their country week after week. And right now, their bodies are telling them, and us, that even the best need rest. The hope is that this is all precautionary, that everyone comes back fine, that England go into the World Cup healthy, that Arsenal finish their season with their key players intact. But if this international break teaches us anything, it's that nothing should be taken for granted. Stay tuned and take care of your players' football. They deserve it.